Hey everyone, this is the Cluster API release team meeting for Wednesday, May 17th. We abide by the C and CF code of conduct, so essentially be nice to each other, raise your hands. With that said, we can go ahead and get started. Let me screen share here just 1 second. There it is. Okay. Y'all can see my, oh my God, so many pop-ups. You can see my screen, okay? Cool. So first things first, quick PSA, releases on the May 30th, will be the next planned patch release. And that's really the only PSA that I have right now for that. Things are still kind of going forward. Killian.
Yeah, so quick one as well. We managed to merge all of the changes in area labels that have been discussed. I guess we carried that over from the last release team. It turned out to be more complicated than I would have liked, but we got there, as just a whole pile of stuff with wait testing for works and who's actually around to approve PRs that, yeah, got in the way of it. But it's there now, so when we generate the release notes the next time, first of all, you should see more area labels. I at least I've been adding them here and there. They won't be on everything. And so anybody has the ability, I guess, with Kubernetes 6 membership has the ability to add labels to all of our PRs. So when the comms team comes around to generate release notes, we'll say 30th of May, it'll be a good idea to add area labels to the actual PRs at the same time you add them to the release notes. And then that's built in for the next time you do patch release. And then if somebody has cycles to pick up the actual release notes tool PR that incorporates that in, that would automate that work. But yeah, the basics are there now, so that's good.
That is awesome. Nwaz.
Yeah, that's amazing, Killian. Thank you for driving it. I was wondering, shall we add a note on our CAPI documentation saying that, hey, if you're raising a PR, maybe add area labels to it as well?
So one thing, sorry, Killian, go ahead.
We're probably going to say the same thing, but we have a PR template that has right now says to add one or more area labels to it. One issue with PR templates is that people do not read them. And I know this because I do not read them. But yeah, we can think about ways to do this better, but I don't know. Anybody who's not reading the PR template probably isn't reading the contributors.md either, or like going through it line by line. So it's hard. So one thing we might be able to do in future, but this is a disruptive change, which would need like community buy-in. So we could open an issue for it if somebody wants to take it on, would be to add a needs area label and eventually possibly have that actually block PRs. But that's really disruptive to maintainers. People are actually reviewing and approving PRs. It's just putting work on them. So it's not something that we can decide to do as a release team. We can't change the whole approval flow of the repo without getting full community buy-in, basically.
Yeah. I think there might be a PR. I'll look under me. Joe might have a PR for the template update. I thought I had a PR, but I didn't want to land it until actual labels are there. So I'll look at that to see if I have that. If not, well, the other thing you may want to do, or the comms team may want to do, just to make your lives easier, is as PRs come in and you don't see a label, just ping the reviewer and say, do you mind quickly adding a label? Here's the labels. And then we'll get a feel for what that is, and we can kind of codify that or discuss that. Yeah, Killian.
I would not do that.
Okay.
Just because that's just it will create a lot of noise on the repo. Once we start doing this, I think the thing to do first of all is maybe announce it in the community meeting, ask people if they could add it to their own PRs, and ask people when they're reviewing a PR to add it if they notice that it doesn't have one. And as more people start doing this, we might see a habit built up. But definitely the thing about pinging people is, yeah, I don't think it's going to make us friends.
No, I meant in general, yes, after the dissemination of the information, worst case to ping them, and I would say in Slack, as opposed to in the issue to generate noise like you mentioned. But I think, yeah, we need to disseminate this information to make sure all the maintainers know that this is a possibility that will help out significant amount of hours, especially for minor releases. Like patch releases are probably okay because it's onesie twosie, but the minor release takes a long time if we have to guess what the labels are. So
yeah, and it could be a thing that actually putting on the labels falls on the release team, somewhere between the comms team and the CI team, probably, given that CI is also triage in some way. But yeah, we'll see how it works out.
yeah, and I think that's a good point, Killian. It doesn't have to follow those two. It could even be release leads as well, right? Like I think we could all pick up the slack here and help out, especially if there are, I think I have access to adding labels, so it's a possibility to, if we don't have labels, ping somebody like me, and I'd be willing to have people ping me to just say, hey, can you add the label, and I'll go figure out what that label may need to be, right? So
Yeah,
I might know the label, but we can work that through, right?
I think people in general should have access, should be able to add labels.
Okay.
I think Kubernetes 6 membership might be the blocker, but
yeah,
if anybody on this call doesn't have that, we'd definitely be happy to sponsor you for it.
Yep. Awesome. That's amazing. Cool. Any other PSAs quickly before we jump into discussion topics? Cool. Johannes.
Yeah, we were discussing this internally. It's a quick one. Yeah, we were thinking about posting the weekly updates in a thread. And there are some pros, there are some cons. Yeah, I try to write them down. I don't know what you think about it, if it's unnecessary. Yeah, just wanted to get a little bit feedback from you folks. Yeah, I can read the pros would be you have like a one continuous stream. You have the pro that you can subscribe to it. The cons might be that that folks might be deterred to post replies, or that it might be hard to find for the comms team to find the thread. So it just was, yeah. Killian.
Just on, I guess, how this will be structured, would you think of this as one thread per release cycle, one thread per patch release?
Actually, I was thinking about like for one minor release, like for the 1.5 release, but actually we weren't discussing this aspect actually. Yeah, I don't know.
Because we have the release announcements for patch releases. So maybe would that thread work as a place to put follow-ups on contributions after that during the cycle to the next patch release?
So are you saying that there would be the public announcement, and then each subsequent week would have a thread post of changes?
Yeah, I definitely think that if you put, so we have what, 17 weeks in a release cycle.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to get lost, and that thread is just going to be black hole for people. For me, at least, that's how I just wouldn't look at it, because I might get notified on it, but
let me ask this. Are there people complaining about it? What problem are we trying to solve?
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I think we are like digging in the dark here a little bit. So actually, perhaps it's a no op, so we can.
No, I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, that's my only like, if people are asking for it to be changed and out of the main channel, then like by all means, let's figure something out. If nobody is, and we just don't want to post it, then that's okay too. Yeah, Killian.
Unrelated to Police Venture Thought, or yeah.
Yeah, no, that was it. That was it. It just abruptly stopped.
I would say unrelated to the weekly update. When we do patch releases, that can be kind of spammy because we have 2 at a time or 3 at a time. And so we end up like spamming multiple very similar messages in the same channel. So maybe we should consider consolidating those to make the main patch release, which is, let's say, on our most recently supported branch, so currently 1.4 in the channel, maybe do a shorter message about an older branch or put that in a thread. It's not so bad during inside the release cycle, but certainly when we have 3 releases at a time, it can look, it just, those messages can be quite long and they definitely fill up the channel a bit. I haven't noticed that the weekly releases are like taking up a lot of room or getting in people's way or anything, but I think sorry, Johannes.
Killian, just to get you right, you were talking about like hiding, like using the hide feature of posting in threads, or?
No, not the hiding feature. I would say when we do a patch release, we want an announcement.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily want an announcement for each patch release when we do multiple on the same day.
Ah, okay.
So when we do 1.3 and 1.4, we could do 1.4 as the headline and 1.3 in a thread.
Okay.
That would be.
Nwaz.
I might have missed understanding about the weekly updates. So are we still sticking it with the thread approach or just individual messages?
Again, as comms lead, you guys figure out what you think works best. If people are complaining that it's too spammy in the channel, then by all means change it. If not, then I don't know. I think we're kind of in the iterative approach of like, what do we think works best? And I don't know.
Cool.
Again, personally, it helps me keep track of stuff, but it's work. So it's it's whatever the community I think wants and what all you all want to put effort into.
I think we'll discuss once again within the team.
I really love this idea though, Killian. This single, hey, here's all the releases, check the thread for more details. That concept will, you're absolutely right. The day that we release all 3 at once is a lot. And you have to scroll quite far back. Cool. Yep, forgot.
One last question. Is it so that once we have a patch releases, someone sends email in the mailing list to all the subscribers?
So typically it's been Slack only. I don't know if we send it out in the mail-in list because, and maybe that's something we could discuss, but I also know that when you post the release in GitHub, if anybody's subscribed, they'll get the notification as well, right? So do we want to post in the community email thread? I guess that's worth discussing. Internal comms team as well. Killian, yeah.
I just had a look there and it looks like we have not done that in quite a long time as far as I can see.
We did not for 1.4, I can tell you that much.
I think 1.0 might have been.
Yeah.
And that was a special because that was our, let's say, production release. And it was all about the KubeCon books as well. But yeah.
So that's a great call for Kat. Yeah, we probably want to do that for at least the patch releases and the minor for sure.
Yeah, I was just wondering, we used to do that when like back in Provider. So, but we haven't really been putting all the content like for each release. We're just giving, the reference to the changelog of the release, and at the same time sending out on the mailing list the announcement to everyone, because not everyone can be on Slack. So you never know.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Nope, it's an amazing idea. I think we should, personally. You're right. We want to get the information out as broadly and widely as possible. So awesome. Trying to think. We probably need to. Yep, perfect. Thank you for adding that, Christian. I will take that as an action item to add that to our release team notes. So at least that's there, and we can have that. Cool. Christian, you've got the next discussion topic.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up from the last community meeting. There was, so as of today, all our pro jobs run on the Google infrastructure. That's defined in the pro job by the cluster default configuration. From the last CAPI meeting, Fabrizio mentioned that from the SIG chair and TL meeting there, I think from SIG cluster lifecycle, it's now possible to take advantage of pro for reconfigure pro jobs to run, for example, on the AWS infrastructure. If I got him right when I rewatched the recording, he more or less said maybe first only for some smaller jobs. I don't know if that's correct. But how I came to this, we have this periodic tests which get stuck in pending, and if we have such a case, only Google coworkers are able to inspect that job if they have access. If these a stuck job would run on the AWS infrastructure, normally anyone from test infra is able to inspect the pod directly in the cluster. That's where I came from. But yeah, just the idea, should we do something here already or not? Yeah, Killian, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think for anybody who missed this, and this has been going on for quite a while, the big reason that we have this AWS infra is for cost reasons. The Google Cloud credits were running out. AWS donated a bunch of credits. There was a huge amount of work put in at the Kubernetes community level to get Prow working on AWS. It's currently working now. We should definitely do it. To help out where we can. At the end of the day, we're only a small part of the community, but we are part of it. So what I would suggest, and this has just kind of become possible, I duplicated our end-to-end full test run earlier this week to see if we can run the whole thing in with dual stack and IPv6 enabled. This is part of trying to dedupe our jobs overall. So now we are running those jobs in duplicate essentially. So maybe for our end-to-end test full, we can try porting that over to AWS in its entirety. We don't lose any test coverage because the end-to-end test full with IPv6 enabled has a couple of extra flakes from dual stack tests, which are new. But otherwise, it seems to be about as stable as the end-to-end test. So we won't lose coverage in case the job is down or is flaky or doesn't work in AWS for some reason. But yeah, maybe propose this. Maybe mention it to Fabrizio first of all. But yeah, it'd be really good if we could, help to get to the bottom of this pending issue.
Yep, sounds good. Aniruddha?
Yeah, so I have a question. As I said, like only Google folks can look into those jobs. Like I don't have much context about it. Like as you said, like if it's running on AWS, like we can like look into it. Like can you explain a bit more into that?
Yeah, so the old infrastructure where currently all cluster API tests run is like we create a pro job, or a pro job gets created when, for example, a pull request comes up or the periodic job kicks in. And with this cluster selector, Pro knows, hey, I have to use the default Kubernetes cluster to create the pod which runs the test in the default cluster. And the default cluster is at somewhere in the Google Cloud behind an account which is owned by Google, and only Google coworkers with access can access that clusters and debug things and do things there. With the switch to other infrastructure like the AWS one, this new infrastructure is set up by the upstream test infra folks, so they also have access to. So this is owned by the project, by Kubernetes or the CNCF or whoever pays for it, which is not the case for the Google default cluster project one. It kind of is donated by Google to get used by the project, but from access perspective, the test infra team, like colleagues working at VMware, which are in upstream test infra, for example, are not able to access those clusters to inspect that things. Basically, that's it. Does this answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that.
Okay, maybe to wrap it up, I don't know, should we create a tracking issue for that or something like this? And so we're able to discuss also with the other maintainer folks. So,
one quick question on that. I think it's a good idea, Christian. Do you think all jobs would be moved to the new EKS clusters at once, or it's just like one or two just to test, or like specific jobs that are frequently stuck?
to be honest, I don't have a real answer on that. I think that's something to be discussed, and maybe the technical leads or chairs like Fabrizio or Cecil are able to answer that on the issues then. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I think the tracking issue is amazing. And we should definitely add that just to get that conversation going, like you mentioned with the maintainers. Awesome. Any other topics? Anything anybody else wants to bring up before we break? Cool. Then I will talk to you all later. Thank
See you
you.
later. Bye.
Bye.